100% by the end of my first term. So now this is the next phase. Certainly I understand that the essential function of government is the public health, safety, and welfare. That's why my crime reduction plan was first. But equally important in the city, as depressed as the city has been in the past, is creating new jobs and economic opportunities and creating a quality of life in our communities that will make them livable, walkable, and sustainable. How many of us leave our homes in the city of Detroit and frequent businesses in other communities and spend our dollars someplace else as opposed to spending them right in the neighborhood like we used to? There is a need here, and that need is for shopping, entertainment, restaurants, gas stations that are clean and safe. We need all this money that we now take and spend outside our community. We're going to give you the impetus. We're going to give you a reason to spend your money right around the corner where you live. So if we can, since it's a little light in here, maybe can we hit the lights maybe? No, we don't want bright. Just a little dark. Thank you, Dr. Joseph. All right, so together we're going to transform our city 1 square mile at a time. So let's talk about jobs and economic development and a growth strategy for this great city of Detroit. Folks want you to think that we are helpless and we are hopeless and that we are desperate, but I'm here to tell you this city is going to come back and we're going to be bigger, we're going to be better, we're going to be stronger, and we're going to be greater than we have ever been because we are tough. We are Detroit. That means something to say that you are from the D. All right, this is my Detroit neighborhood growth strategy. The vision for Detroit's future is, the goal is to transform every neighborhood within Detroit's 140 square miles, 1 square mile at a time, by forming public-private partnerships to create jobs, by attracting new investment, to clean up and revitalize our neighborhoods, streets, and business districts, and to improve the quality of life for our residents by drastically reducing crime and restoring city services. At the same time, we will attract new people and businesses and reconnect our neighborhoods to the central city. We were once a city with almost 2 million people. We've gone down to 700,000. I was talking to a wise businessman last week, and what he said to me was so appropriate. What he said was, Billy, the success of whether you are a good mayor or not is going to be whether more people live in the city of Detroit when you leave office than it was when you took office. We're going to make sure that we repopulate this city, we're going to grow this city, and we're going to make this a city where people want to live and raise their families. We need to get families back into the neighborhood. What's going on downtown is fantastic. I'm not mad about it at all. But until you do something for the folks who live here, for the folks who have been here for the last 50, 60, 70 years, it's like Stevie Wonder said one time in one of his songs, you haven't done nothing until you take care of the people. So we're getting ready to take care of our neighborhoods by making that our top priority. The vision for Detroit's future: public safety, neighborhood growth, economic development and funding, a Detroit neighborhood partnership, and citywide vision plan. Now, I talked to some folks downtown, and if you ride around downtown, and I'm not picking on downtown, but I'm just going to tell you why it's working downtown. Because they have something that is called the Downtown Detroit Partnership.
Yes. Yeah.
They clean the streets, they plant the flowers, they cut the grass, they keep the lights on. Yeah. Well, guess what? When I'm your mayor, we're going to have a Detroit neighborhood partnership. If it's good enough for downtown, it's good enough for the rest of the town. vision for Detroit's future. Here's where we are now. We have a proud history.
Yes.
You know, Detroiters are very proud of whether they're east and west. It don't matter. They just know that they're from the beach. We've got a proud history. But it has declined some. We had reinvestment in downtown, in midtown, while we neglected the rest of the town. It's time for that to stop. Declining quality of life in our neighborhoods, we're going to reverse that trend, and we have a strategy for stabilizing our neighborhoods. That's my vision for Detroit's future. Stabilizing our neighborhoods. Our citywide vision will begin by building on Detroit's outstanding assets. We've got some great things going on in this community. Folks will try to tell you that we are desperate and that there's nothing going on, but we've got fantastic assets in this community. And I want to tell you now, the proof is, whoever tried to take over something wasn't worth nothing.
Yeah, right. Say that.
If it wasn't worth nothing, we nobody want it. Strong neighborhoods. We've got some very viable, historic, and traditional neighborhoods connecting our community districts together. It's not, and I got in trouble about this, but I don't care. It's not just Palmer Woods and Sherwood Forest. We got East English Village. We got Boston Medicine. We got Aviation Sub. We got Russell Woods. We got Schoolcraft. I mean, there's so many different communities throughout this city that are just as proud. We need to capitalize on those viable and historic traditional neighborhoods and connect them all together like they used to be connected.
Right.
And Montgomery Street Block Club.
So, we got outstanding parks. Citywide neighborhood and riverfront park system providing recreational opportunities and open space. A lot of people don't know that one of the impetuses for my Square Mile initiative is that the city of Detroit was laid out in square miles. If you go to any square mile in the city of Detroit, there's something you will find. You will find an elementary school and a park. Because it was laid out so that our children would not have to be far from home when they went to school and when they played. Mm-hmm. So we need to capitalize on that and make sure that we understand that those are viable and valuable assets in each and every single square mile of this city. So we need to make sure we capitalize on these outstanding parks. We've got the Detroit River. Yep. It's an international border. It is one of the biggest jewels in this country. It's one of the most beautiful in the country that accommodates commerce, recreation, and defines our international border. We have a great port authority. We need to use it as an economic engine to help grow this community.
That's right.
Post office in the United States.
Amen. Vacant land opportunities. Vacant land can be redeveloped into vibrant neighborhood uses, green open space, and productive landscapes. A lot of people see that and they see desperation and desolation. I see that and I see opportunity. We have to stop looking at our city from the negative and look at it as the positive. Look at it for what it can be. You know, we're harder on ourselves than anybody else is.
Say that.
We need to start seeing our city and seeing ourselves in a different way. And that starts from the leadership that you have in this community. That's right. So boulevards and greenways. Boulevards linking our neighborhoods to a citywide open space greenway system. This is what we should have. If you're going to put a boulevard, you got to at least cut the grass, little noise.
Say that.
And when you look what goes on downtown, in other parts of the community, I see it happen some in Midtown. Businesses in the community come together and the city doesn't take care of that. Different people volunteer to take care of that. Well, if they can do it there, they can do it where we live, and we have to ask for it. Blessed are those who ask for nothing, you won't be disappointed. We're going to ask everybody to participate in the rebuilding of this community.
Yes!
You want my money? You got to give me some honey. Just tell me like the GI is. You understand what I'm talking about? Greatest asset in this city. You are our city's greatest asset. they're very tough, they're very caring, they're very concerned people. We just need to organize it in a better way for the common good of the neighborhoods. To make our neighborhoods the neighborhoods that we grew up in. So community leaders, pastors, block club presidents, volunteer nonprofits, we want our neighborhoods, we sit down sometime as leadership and tell you what you need to have in your neighborhood. That's not the way it should work. That's why we're going to have a neighborhood Detroit partnership, and we're going to have CDCs in the neighborhood. We're going to send money directly to you so you can decide the priorities in the neighborhood that you live in. Now, we work closely with the Detroit Future City framework, and it's pretty consistent what I've come up with Detroit Future City. It accelerates the 50-year framework process into a bold 5-year action plan delivering tangible projects. A bold 5-year. We've gone from 50 years accelerated to 5 years. Now, some folks are going to say two things. How are you going to do something in 5 years that some folks are saying is going to take 50? That's the one criticism. The other one, somebody's going to say, well, when you're elected mayor, you only get a 4-year term, not a 5-year term. But it's going to be so good to them that I don't care what happens to me. We're going to continue on with this progress because it has to be. And as for those who say it's not possible, I think of a young president who was confronted with one of the most impossible tasks at the time. And they were having a race to something called the moon. Someplace where people had never been. And they got into a room and he sat at the table and he thought he was going to be there a long time because he was talking about how he was going to beat Russia to the moon. And when he sat at this table and he looked at his folks and he said, how are we going to get to the moon before Russia? One young scientist sitting in the room looked at him and said 5 very simple words. Will to do it. We're going to have the will to do this because we're going to make sure that we're not going to give up, we're not going to give out, and we're not going to give in.
Say that.
We're going to make this the greatest city in America. Folks are talking about it's going to be like Chicago. When we're finished with this, Chicago is going to say we're going to be like the city of Detroit because we're going to
Say that, Mayor Napoleon.
So how do we begin? Obviously, public safety. And folks say I talk about this all the time, and I do. Because let me tell you what I know to my core. You can give me clean streets. You can give me a great education system. You can have jobs up to what you want. But if my baby ain't safe, if my mom's not safe, it doesn't really mean anything to me. Because I am not going to put the people that I love in harm's way. So that has to be the anchor. That has to be the rock. The purpose of government is to make you safe. And when they don't make you safe, they have failed miserably. And unfortunately, we have been one of the most dangerous cities in America for a long time because you had police chiefs who wanted to do it, but leadership that wouldn't give them the budget to do it. So we're going to make sure that our police department is well funded, well staffed, and with technology to make sure that you are safe. All right, this is just a quick overview of my square mile initiative. We're going to assign it to the police officer in every single square mile. I won't talk about that too much because if you haven't seen it, you should have. Because I've been talking about it a long time. 50% crime reduction, 5-point plan. Look, there's only been one proven way to reduce crime. And I did it when I was police chief by using these methods. You got to have a data-driven approach to crime. You have to have crime prevention, community policing, problem-oriented policing, and then you also have to have directed enforcement. That's technical terms for the police, but trust me, it's what works. And that's what we're going to do again to help make you safe. Policing with the community. The police department can only be as successful as they have your support. The police department has to be a part of the community, not apart from the community. And we have to make community policing the anchor of the Detroit Police Department, and it will be. Here's the code. Public safety centers. A lot of people who don't spend their money in Detroit will not spend it because they don't feel safe going where they could spend the money. You know that. Someone been near and dear to me, stop going to it. Ladies, you'll understand this. Because when someone plays with your hair, that's an important thing. Somebody I know, stop going to the person that had been doing her hair for 30 years. Because she walked out that shop one day, her car was on bricks, and the guys was at the car and they looked up at her and told her in some very mean way that she needs to take her back in the building. Her beautician lost that customer forever. That's how serious safety is. So public safety has to be the cornerstone of what we're doing here. So here, public safety coverage. We're going to put new police, fire, EMS service centers in each new council district. Every single one of them will have a new public safety mall with police, fire, and EMS. So if you see them, okay, Robert. Huh? Yeah, it ain't working. There's no red. Ah, there it is. I found it. I found it. But yeah, that was yours.
Yep.
Okay. I guess I'm here with Melvin, Daisy Blue Note. Some of y'all got that.
I didn't.
Some of y'all got that. All right, so now, in each council district, you will see where I'm pointing, you will see what will be a new public safety mall. There's 7 of them, trust me. You can count them if you want, but there's 7.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Now,
Yes.
in addition to that public safety mall, you will have attendant shopping, dining, and entertainment right within the curtilage of the public safety mall. Supermarket, yeah, let me say that again. Y'all didn't hear that.
Oh, yes, we did.
Within
Oh,
the curtilage
yes.
of the public safety mall.
You
will
go.
have
You go.
Your shopping, your entertainment, and your dining right there.
All right. All right. Man Napoleon.
Additionally, fire is important. So in addition to that, we're going to put in 9 new fire super stations, which will include EMS spread throughout the rest of the city.
Yes.
We will have new fire and 9 new ones in addition to the 7 that we put. So 9 and 7, 16 new fire facilities. Because fire response and EMS response is critical. This is what the landscape will look like. Police, fire, and EMS operations all working together, integrated into retail community centers for each council district. This is kind of a layout of it. Obviously, the police department has the largest portion because they have the most people. Fire and EMS, where you see here, where it says the council district, that will be a city office. I am going to encourage, I can't demand, but I will encourage your city council member that if you have elected from your district to open an office right in there so you don't have to go downtown to see it, they're right there in your neighborhood.
That's right.
We're coming to the people, folks, because it's about you. It's not about me.
That's right.
So, also in here will be a community room.
All right.
In each council district where you will have the ability to have meetings. You
All right.
Right there, right inside your council district.
Yes.
And there will also be your 1 square mile officer inside that facility, so they will be easy for you to find.
I'm sorry.
That's just kind of a rendition of how they're going to look, obviously. You're talking something that's going to be very attractive, because you want to make sure that the public building doesn't contribute to the flight. So, this is the landscape. These are the kinds of things that will be attended to the public safety sector to increase neighborhood development and promote economic development, retail services, neighborhood groceries, playground, and housing.
Yes. Yeah.
People are going to want to live close to here. As you notice, when you leave the city of Detroit and you look at these shopping plazas that you see throughout suburban communities, they're put there and there's housing around it, so people don't have to go a long way in order to get the amenities that they need. Why do we have to do it in the city of Detroit? Why should you have to drive 20 miles to get something that you should be able to get right in your neighborhood, like most of the people in the state of Michigan? How are we going to pay for it?
Okay.
I knew that someone was going to ask that question.
I was thinking it.
I knew it, so I'm prepared for that. You're going to have public-private partnerships, tax increment financing bonds, development bonds, new market tax credits, leases to the city. No, let me repeat this. No burden to the city balance sheet, which is critical. State to support leases. The governor says he wants to help us out. But
All right. There you go. There you go. That's right.
No additional taxpayer expense. Let me repeat that. No additional taxpayer expense. Let's talk about our quality of life issues, because that's really what it's about. Having the same type of quality of life that
This
people
guy is
enjoy
making me
throughout
so
this
excited.
community, throughout the state, and throughout this country. Because this is what we're trying to build. A quality of life that will help repopulate this community, repopulate the city, increase the tax base, which will lower our property taxes and create
Benny
economic
Napoleon for
where
mayor.
people can walk to work once again.
Say that.
This is unacceptable. You know, anybody who lives in this community, I don't have to explain this to you. We've all seen this. We've all seen this. And there's money. I don't have to go look for this money. When the president was in town last year, I had an opportunity to introduce him out in Dearborn. And when we were talking before I introduced him, I said to him, with the encouragement of, I have to give him credit, Pastor Wendell.
This is my mayor.
President, you make sure you tell him this. So I did. So when I talked to the president, I said, look, Mr. President, we need help. You bailed out the banks, you bailed out the autos, you bailed out Iraq, you need to bail out the city of Detroit. So the president said, Sheriff, once I win this election, I'm going to do something for Detroit. If you recall, the president mentioned one city in his inauguration speech. That was the city of Detroit. And I'm going to take credit for that. I'm sure he thought about me when he was giving that speech. I remember the sheriff told me he needed help, so I just wanted to remind him that I'm helping him out. So now, for those of you who think I don't have friends in high places, I don't talk to the governor, I talk to the president.
That's my mayor.
And I got pictures to prove it.
And real pictures.
So from eliminating flight, we just got that 52 million in top funds. There's another 100 million or so that's still out there on the table. We're going to create a flight authority. What's going to happen is different is, you know, with my square mile initiative, we're going to send that money right into your own respective square mile so that you can determine what the priorities are in your community. Not somebody sitting downtown saying, we're going to tear this down first, we're going to take. No, you, as the resident, should be able to make that decision, so we're going to let you make those decisions, all right? We've got people in the business community who have said they want to help. Most probably Mr. Gilbert, I believe, and he said it, I believe he's willing to do it. So we're going to have this commitment there, and then we're going to have city reinforcement and coordination. Look, we can't demo our way out of this, but we have to transform our neighborhoods by making properties opportunities.
Yes.
So here's the important things we're going to do. One, a moratorium on purchase. We're going to end the speculator game. We got too many people buying property in the city of Detroit, holding on to it, not fixing it up, because that will mess up our neighborhood. That game is over. That game is over. You cannot come into our community and speculate and not rehabilitate. So you're going to have to fix up if you buy. And when you buy, you're going to have a plan. And we will only sell to those people with a plan and a timetable for rehab. Don't tell me you're going to fix it up in a year and it takes 5, because guess what? Every contract will have a reversion clause in it. If you don't say what you plan on doing, if you don't do it, it comes right back to the city of Detroit. Then you lose your money.
Perfect. That's my
So
mayor.
one of the things that we want to do is leverage public, nonprofit, and for-profit enterprise to help rehab. We have a lot of homes in this community that can be fixed up.
Yes.
So let's put them in the hands of nonprofits in our neighborhoods and let you fix it up and you pick your neighbor.
Right.
When you fix it up and you're not selling it for a profit, you'll be able to put somebody in there as a group. You know, when you move into some places, you have to go before a committee.
That's right.
And they have to approve you moving in. Well, when we get a house to you and you fix it up, they're going to have to come before a committee, and then you're going to have to approve your neighbor.
Love it.
Be a good neighbor. All right? I like that.
I love it.
Another one of the issues that we have in our community, had a big story about water running in the basements of these houses. That's because we have not coordinated the turning off of utilities. So we have to coordinate turning off of utilities so they'll have simultaneous shutoffs. We have to make sure that we don't leave these buildings open and dangerous to our children and to our seniors and all our residents. Preventing blight. Look, if you foreclose on a house, I understand banking if somebody ain't paying. You should have the opportunity to foreclose. But guess what? When you foreclose, we're going to put a $10,000 bond up front for foreclosures. That means that we got the money now. When you don't cut the grass, we going to cut the grass. Make sure that you don't leave a blighted property in our community just because you're a bank. We have allowed people to disrespect us, Detroit.
Say that.
We have allowed people to disrespect us.
Say that again.
I'm going to make folks respect us as a community and demand that they treat us the way we should be treated. And after I spend that $10,000, if you still in foreclosure, you haven't heard of it, got that house out, we're going to fine you $1,000 a day if you're not in compliance. I'm a lawyer. We got lawyer friends.
Yep.
We're going to have tight restrictions on folks. You teach people how to treat you.
That's right.
And we have taught people they can disrespect us, and that is going to stop. Prohibit the city from investing in bad players. If you want the city's money and you're a bank, you're going to have to be a good bank. You can't have thousands of properties in our community and we're doing business with you and you won't take care of your property. If you're doing business with the city of Detroit, you're going to, if you want my money, you got to give me some honey. I'm sorry, that's just true. If we're going to do business with you, you got to be a good partner with us, folks, in all seriousness. That's the way it has to be. I'm really going to get in trouble with this one. But the bottom line is this. We have people who through no fault of their own. Can't afford to keep their house. They're underwater, maybe lost a job, the house isn't worth what it used to be worth, and they just can't take care of it. So as opposed to trying to work something out and the banks don't work it out, they just walk away. Well, something that's being done in other communities is that the city of Detroit takes the house and sells it through eminent domain and sells it back to the person for what it's worth.
Love it. Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
So we don't have to run people out of our community.
Yes.
Because they have no financial.
Yes. Yes. Mayor Napoleon. Yes. 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 Oh, yes.
All right. That'll do it. Already,
Woo!
Michael, you don't have to say no more. It's all right.
Did you get that right, Matt? I said it, and I mean it. I just want to make sure my friend from the newspaper got it right. Because I'm going to hear about it before the 10 o'clock news, I'm sure. You know, hey, here's what it is. Stabilization. What comes next? Neighborhood growth. You know, I am tired of hearing people say about this great city that I grew up in, that it can never be, that it was. We can never be what we used to be. I did not go to the school of I can. I went to the school of I can. I went to the school of I will. I went to the school of I must. Tell me more. So let's not talk about what we can't do.
Sure, no, that's right.
Let's talk about what we will do.
Yes,
Not what we hope to do. We're going to claim it.
we can do that.
So we're going to grow our community once again. The 7 council districts, our growth strategy is tailored to the unique characteristics and assets and planning efforts underway in each council district. All districts will be coordinated through the mayor's office under the Neighborhood Revitalization Partnership, or what I call the Neighborhood Detroit Neighborhood Partnership. So those are the 5 council districts, but they all are unique and different. That's what made Detroit such a great place. It's not cookie cutter. You know, when you say I'm from Southwest, that means something. You say from Northeast, that means something. The North End, that means something. They all have their own specific characteristics. If I say I'm from the East Side, y'all know what that is. All right. So we're going to accelerate neighborhood development opportunities. We're going to create a 24-hour turnaround for permits. Folks, it should not take you in this modern age all day to get a permit. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is computers. I mean, I can take out my phone right now and go to some app and buy almost anything I want to buy. Take me 3 months to get a permit? That's outrageous. It's going to be so simple for my 6-year-old grandson to know how to get a permit. Yeah, ain't going to be no kickbacks.
All right.
That's right. That's right.
In case y'all ain't heard,
That's right.
I'll put you in prison.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That business is over.
That's right. And I'll supervise you.
Implementing interdepartmental development teams. When somebody wants to come in and do development in the city, they should not have to stop here, and here. They should have one shot. And I've heard this for years. And nobody's been able to do it. That's because they haven't had 5 simple words. The will to do it. We're going to do it because we have the will to do it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, utilize unspent federal funding to incentivize neighborhood business and growth. I never, ever gave a woman some money and she gave it back. money back. Does that make sense to anybody in here? Absolutely not. That does not make any sense. If somebody takes the money back from us, I'll guarantee you that person's gonna be out of a job. So if you want to keep your job, you better make sure you spend that money. And provide CDBG dollars for building and streetscape improvements. You know, as we drive around the city, I remember when it was gorgeous.
Me too.
Back when I was a young person, people used to come to town from out of town. We'd drop them in the car on a beautiful sunny day and just drive around the whole city, showing them how pretty our city was.
That's right.
It can be that pretty again.
Yes, right.
If we have the will to do it. I believe we have the will to do it, Detroit.
The will to
District
do
plan,
it.
grouping related neighborhoods in the clusters. Now you see up here, this is an anchor project. Right now, they have that going on in the 8 Mile Woodward area. The Myers up there is the highest grossing Myers in the country. Listen. And they aren't even open 24 hours yet. But let me tell you what's happening. People from our community who used to drive outside of the city are spending that money in the city. And that's where the money needs to be spent. So every district in the city of Detroit will have a similar economic anchor, where we will establish the retail and service centers, connecting these neighborhoods, creating gateways, and that we're going to talk about connecting to green space. Look, we got gateways into the city. When people ride into these gateways, they should ride in and say, wow, this is a beautiful time. Yes. That's what they should see, and we're going to give it to them. This is that State Fair, Myers, and there's a lot of growth going on in that area. You see the Penrose neighborhood, University District, Marygrove, Mumford High School, UD. I know where those are. I don't need a map to get there. I said I don't need a map to get there. So we're going to increase job and economic growth. Woodward 8 Mile Gateway, this is the public space improvements around Gateway and entrances into the city, into the district. Ladies and gentlemen, if they can do it at 8 Mile and Woodward, they can do it at Grand River and back. They can do it at Mackin D-West. They can do it at Electric and Vista. It don't just have to be downtown. It can be about the rest of the time. And this proves it. Increased job development and increased development jobs and second-tier spending occurring around new regional shopping and destinations. That's right up in 8 Mile Woodward, in the city of Detroit. I mean, the place is packed.
Yeah, I've been there.
Packed. I was in the Whole Foods store last night at 8:30. Didn't know whether I was just taking a chance because I had just gotten finished doing something and I didn't want to eat bad, so I was going to buy some fruit. And I got to the Whole Foods store and I was like, I'm hoping it's open. It was open till 9 o'clock. Saying and talking about staying open till midnight. The demand is there. This is all scheduled for development, for mixed-use housing, entertainment, retail activities, just because they opened up that economic anchor. When you do that, people will grow. They will come. They will want to be close to what's going on. These houses are there right now, right around the corner. And they've got a plan to put 200 new houses there over the next 5 years and spend $40 million. 50 million, 40 million, I'm sorry, over the next 5 years. That's in the Penrose neighborhood. This is Detroit. Part Farmer Park. We have to have green space. A real livable, walkable, sustainable city has places that are peaceful, other than the cemetery. I just want to make sure you all listen. So this is how playgrounds